Truman's a legend. He's an amazing guy, very smart.
Extremely intelligent guy.
One of the most brilliant engineering minds.
Everybody knows him. He's a legend. I mean, he really is. He's a legend.
He's one of the best engineers, if not the best engineers in Houston.
Definitely shaped my growth and how I learned to be an engineer.
It amazes me the way he looks at different things and come up with solutions.
I attribute a lot of where I am today to what I've learned from Truman.
I would characterize Truman Edminster as one of the regional titans of the civil engineering industry.
His respect level is very high in the engineering community.
He's been somebody that organizations, other companies, municipalities have looked to him for leadership, and they'll inquire about him. They'll get his opinion because he's done it. He's been here. He's got the experience and he's got the knowledge.
He's been very involved, from his being on planning commission to being presidents of various organizations, civil engineering organizations.
He is very much involved in the community and kind of knows what's going on, particularly with Houston. I mean, his family's been in Houston for an extremely long time. So he really cares about what happens within the city and the way the city moves forward.
Being a third generation, I think, means something, but he's really made this his own. And so his time, here at EHRA has I think been to me it's a study in steadiness. He's got a very kind of steady demeanor that it makes you trust his answers.
He has an ability to connect with people in ways that I've never seen anybody else connect with people.
Truman is a mentor to the company. For all of those who've had the opportunity to work with him, have really learned a lot from him.
A lot of us that have been here a while, we've learned how to be a professional from him.
You've got to return telephone calls, way to handle emails. If you don't know the answer, say you don't know the answer, but I will have an answer on Tuesday.
Truman was always very big on being prepared for your meetings. And I remember being in meetings as a young EIT, engineering training, sitting at the desk, and he would just look up at me and he'd kind of tilt his head and say, "I think you're forgetting something." And it was, oh shoot. So I'd get up and run out and get my pad. And that was the last time I ever did that, because he would, in an indirect way, let you know something wasn't right.
And it's things like that he's taught us to be good professionals. He's been very impactful in that.
Truman has shaped this company just by helping put it on a map.
I think Truman's contribution to the creation of what EHRA is today has a lot to do with bringing all these disciplines together in one location, under one roof, we always say. And so for me as a professional to be able to have all these other disciplines at my fingertips, and we bring that to our clients, is just building that legacy.
He probably, I think, has introduced us into the being able to say we can do master plan communities.
His greatest contribution was just understanding that what we do to create the built environment is not dependent on just one discipline. It's not all about engineering. You've got to have these other things to make a successful, energized, kind of really thoughtful and wonderful community at the end, versus just having engineers do it, because it'll probably end up in straight lines if you let them do it.
And now we have, almost 3 times as many master plans communities we did when they started and got those. But if those wouldn't have went right, and if he wouldn't have been involved, I don't think we would be sitting here today saying we're a master plan community type engineer.
I mean, when I first started here and he said, "Where you work?" "I work at Edminster, Henshaw, Russ & Associates." Sometimes I get the answer, "Oh, what law firm is that?" And so they don't do that anymore, and a lot of it has to do with Truman.
Even though the company is growing and we're getting large, and it feels like a family. It just feels like one big family here.
I truly think that we have that family feel here as a result of a lot of the discussions that he and Jim both had, and how they wanted this place to run, how they wanted this place to operate, and what they wanted for their team here.
Looking at Truman and Jim both, the way that when they came in and changed the firm to the path that it's on and carrying on today, it's amazing.
We wanted to be completely open and honest and transparent, and very efficient with the way we led and managed a business. And so we came together on those philosophies, and those were our commonalities.
I mean, his leadership is him and Jim have just been absolutely great to have those two at the head of steering the ship, and they have done just an absolutely wonderful job.
I think the most impactful thing about his legacy is just what he's done for the city of Houston. Even being on planning commission and just involved with helping out or making decisions for the community, making decisions for the cities, and what he's done with modifying criteria and getting things moving forward.
It's not even just that he groomed EHRA where it is. I think there's tons of other engineers and other people involved in this industry that would love to come on here and say, yeah, I can contribute a lot of my career on Truman's, leadership.
He is somebody that has just a wealth of knowledge. We have EITs, project managers, and even senior project managers that still use him to this date to get his opinion on things and on how things should work, how things should go, and he's been incredibly helpful.
For me, Truman's legacy has the most to do with being professional, and yet having that understanding that people are all different and learning how to interact with them at their level, and injecting that little bit of humor. It just takes the cap off of any situation and allows people to interact with each other better.
Just in the middle of a conversation, Truman will absolutely come up with the off-the-wall sayings that either have been said before or have never been said before, but he uses them in the perfect moment. And you always have to kind of stop and just laugh.
Gosh, he's got one for every situation,
But Truman uses these things in a way that, he proves his point.
The easiest one to say publicly would be, putting lipstick on a pig.
Act like I'm from Missouri and show me.
I need to write things down, because if I don't write them down, then the knowledge could be crossed if I get hit by a crosstown bus.
Don't pee on my shoe and tell me it's raining. Always a good image from that.
And I asked my wife, I said, what does a crosstown bus mean? And my wife said, oh, that's easy. A crosstown bus is one that goes real fast, because you got to get across town, and that bus will kill you. And I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah, I know it sounds like a joke, but he has a lot of great sayings that just a lot of people remember them and they use them. And but at the end of the day, they're called Trumanisms, but they're really kind of sound wisdom.
He's not that stiff back, typical engineer. He's got so many other interests that he brings to the table, and I think that just kind of permeates who he is. And I think that's why I like him so much, knowing that there's more layers to people than just what's on the surface.
He's been a great impact to this company in the things he's taught us to do and how to think, and has really shaped us in big and large engineering projects, and how to tackle them and how to approach them, and how to be a professional and handle them that way.
I have the highest level of honor and respect and trust and care and love for that man.
His career has spanned so many decades at this point that there are so many communities that have been touched by him and this firm, that those are all places that people call home. And, when you're coming to the end of a career and you can point at, look how many places there are in this region that have had his touch and are great places to be, great places to live, great places to work or play. I think that is just the mark of a great career and something that should be celebrated.
He is, without a doubt, been the very core as to why we have accomplished what we've accomplished as an organization over the last 25 years.